Good evening, my name is Giovanni and welcome to Face to Face. Today's video is all about setting goals. Goals aren't just about aiming for success or checking boxes. For believers, it's about aligning our purpose with God's calling. It is moving from just to existing to living. In John 10:10, Jesus said, "I have come that they may have life and have it abundantly." Let's look at a Christian approach to setting goals. This is where practical steps meet spiritual wisdom. Are you ready? Let's get into it. One of the first things to remember is that goals are powerful. When we set them with intention, they shape our path and keep us focused. Here's how to create meaningful, Christ-centered goals that honor God. The first thing you want to do, of course, as always, is to start with prayer and scripture. Starting with prayer and scripture allows you to set a good tone even before you have started even thinking about what your goal is. Ask God to reveal His plans for you. Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Let God be your guide as you seek His will for your life goals. Some questions to consider as you pray are, what are my God-given strengths? And how can I serve others through these goals? The second thing you want to do is to create what's called SMART goals. The acronym SMART, S.M.A.R.T, is for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. The SMART framework is a powerful method for goal setting, and it is widely used because it helps create clear, actionable goals that are achievable. So let's break down each part of that SMART acronym and explore how it can align with your faith and your values. The S stands for specific. When you set your goal as specific, that means it is clear and well-defined. Ask yourself, what exactly do I want to accomplish? The more specific you are, the easier it is to focus and track progress. A specific goal allows you to stay on course and take intentional steps toward fulfilling God's purpose in your life. As an example, instead of setting a vague goal like, I want to serve God more, a specific goal would be, I will volunteer in my church's youth group for at least one Sunday each month. The M stands for measurable. When your goal is measurable, you can track progress and know when you've achieved it. Having measurable goals helps us to stay disciplined and accountable as we pursue God's call. Ask yourself, how will I know when I've accomplished this goal? For example, if your goal is to grow in your relationship with God, you might measure it by spending 30 minutes in prayer or Bible reading every month in the morning. So you can look back and measure whether or not you have been spending those 30 minutes in Bible reading and prayer every morning. The A stands for achievable. An achievable goal should be realistic and attainable given your current resources, skills, and time. It should challenge you, but also be something you can reasonably accomplish. God doesn't call us to aim for impossible goals, but He does call us to step out in faith. In Philippians 4:13, we are reminded, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. This means that with God's help, we can set challenging yet achievable goals, trusting that He will equip us. As an example, if you want to improve your health, an achievable goal might be, I will walk for 30 minutes 3 times a week, rather than setting some unrealistic goal of running a marathon within a month, right? The R stands for relevant. A relevant goal should align with your larger life purpose. It should be connected to your values, your passion, and your faith. One of the things you want to ask yourself is this goal still worthwhile? Does it align with my faith and values? Sometimes our goals change. For example, maybe at what time all you wanted to do was climb the corporate ladder until you earned a six-figure salary, and you want to have a certain car, live in a particular neighborhood. And as you pray, God reorders your priorities, and you realize that that goal or specific set of goals just no longer serve God's purpose for you. For a Christian, some, if not all of our goals should serve the kingdom. This means that our goals should have eternal value, serving others and glorifying God. So ask yourself, does this goal allow me to serve God, others, or my community? Instead of setting a goal focused purely on personal gain, a relevant goal might be, I will use my job to mentor and encourage others in their faith. And finally, the T is for time-bound. A time-bound goal has a clear deadline or time frame. By setting a specific time in which to complete it, you remain motivated and with a sense of urgency. Ask yourself, when do I want to accomplish this goal? Time is a gift from God, and we're called to use it wisely. In Ephesians 5:15-16, Paul reminds us to make the most of every opportunity. Setting a time frame helps us to be good stewards of our time and ensures that we take action instead of procrastinating. So for example, if your goal is to build a better relationship with your spouse, you might set a time-bound goal such as, I will take my spouse out to eat twice a month. Or, you'll spend quality time by going out together for a walk. You don't necessarily have to spend money to spend quality time with someone, but you want to make sure that if you set that goal, you are putting a time frame around it. SMART goals help us to stay focused, stay on track, and honor God. Other ways to set goals is to set goals that have kingdom impact. For Christians, it's not just about achieving personal ambitions, but making sure that our goals contribute to God's kingdom in a meaningful way. This approach can shape your goals into tools for serving, loving, and making a positive difference in the world, whether spiritually, professionally, or personally. So, what does goals that have kingdom impact mean? What types of goals are these? These are goals that align with Christ's teachings, such as love, service, humility, and justice. These goals should help us grow in ways that also enable us to support and serve others. And lastly, these goals keep an eternal perspective. Instead of just short-term gains, these goals contribute to things that last and matter to God, like influencing others positively, spreading God's love, and being a light in the world. The steps that you need to take in order to set those kingdom impact goals are first and foremost is to seek God's guidance with prayer and scripture reading, as we have already identified previously. The second thing, you need to identify your gifts and passions for kingdom purposes. Consider the gifts that God has given you, your passions, and ways that you can use them to serve others and glorify Him. This helps in setting goals that reflect your calling and purpose in Christ. You also need to look for ways to serve others in your goals. For example, in a career goal that's focused on serving others instead of only your aiming for a promotion, you look for ways to foster a supportive work environment where others feel valued and encouraged. A goal might be, I will lead my team in a way that builds unity and promotes integrity, using monthly check-ins to encourage my team members. An example of a family goal might be, rather than just, increasing quality time with family, you might say, I am going to actively invest in their spiritual growth and spend, a weekly family devotion time and provide a Christ-centered atmosphere in the home. You always want to evaluate whether your goals have eternal value. Ask yourself, will it make a lasting impact on others, point them toward Christ, or reflect God's love? If you're looking for personal development, instead of setting a goal to become more confident, try, I will seek to embody Christ-like humility and courage, building my confidence in the identity God has given me so that I can better serve and encourage others. And finally, some thoughts on setting kingdom goal with impact. You might think, they actually require us to shift from a self-centered perspective to Christ-centered purpose. By prioritizing God's mission, we always look for ways to make lasting impact. Our goals are tools to help others deepen their faith. We are not setting goals for achievement's sake, but for living purposefully with the ultimate goal of glorifying God and advancing His kingdom. So as you set your goals, keep asking, how can this goal draw me closer to God? How can it benefit others? How can it make a lasting, eternal impact? This perspective can help us shape our ambitions with meaningful, purpose-driven results. To succeed with kingdom impact goals, we need to break them down into smaller steps. Once you have your big goal, break it down into manageable steps. For example, if your goal is to write a book on Christian living within a year, you have to break it down into smaller steps. Breaking goals down into smaller steps is essential to turning big aspirations into manageable, achievable tasks. This method helps you avoid feeling overwhelmed. It tracks your progress and helps to build momentum as you complete each step. Here's a detailed look at how to break goals down effectively, along with some examples and tips for making it work. So you have your big picture. You want to write a Christian book on Christian living within a year. And why do you want to achieve this goal? Or one of the questions you might ask yourself. This book perhaps can help people grow spiritually. So your goal actually serves a higher purpose that aligns with your faith and calling. So next, you'll break the goal down into milestones. Milestones are larger steps or checkpoints that bring you closer to the end of each goal. Each milestone should be meaningful achievement on the path to your final goal. And you want to set realistic time frames for each milestone that gives you structure and helps you monitor progress over time. So let's say your first milestone, complete research and outline, and you give yourself a time frame of 1 month. Your next milestone might be write the first draft or maybe 3 chapters by the end of month 3. Your milestone 3 might be complete the full draft by the end of month 8. Milestone 4 might be edit and revise by month 10. And then your final milestone might be finalize the manuscript and submit it to publishing or self-publish by month 12. And that's a full year. Now, these milestones can be further broken down. So you need to create achievable small steps for each milestone. So some achievable small steps, for example, step 1, that first milestone, you want to research 10 to 15 books on Christian living for insight and to see their style and themes. And then at step 2 for that milestone 1 might be brainstorm your topics and themes. And then the last step 3, draft a rough draft of each chapter. Step 4 perhaps might be get feedback on the outline from a trusted member or a friend. And then finally revise the draft based on the feedback. You want to make sure you are setting daily and weekly tasks so that as you're breaking down these goals even further, you can focus on them consistently. Being consistent means that you are working on your goal 15 to 30 minutes each day. Or maybe you want to create a to-do list so you can calendar these tasks so that to make sure that you are working and keeping yourself accountable on a daily basis. The goal of breaking our milestones is to stay on track as much as possible. We have been talking about time management. We have been talking about how to set goals over the last few weeks. And so as you're listening to me talking about how to set goals, I hope that you are noticing how, as you're breaking down all of these milestones, your calendar, time blocking, all of the things that we've already talked about will be coming into play in order for you to achieve specific goals. One of the things that we want to make sure that we do is to focus on one step at a time. While it's good to keep the big picture in mind, try to stay focused on one step or task at a time. This keeps you from feeling overwhelmed by the end goal and helps you work efficiently. You want to use prayer and reflection. So pause to pray and reflect at each stage. This can help you maintain perspective, especially if your progress becomes challenging. As an example, if you're working on chapter 1 in the example of the book, you want to focus solely on completing that chapter instead of worrying about the rest of the book. And, we talked about celebrating before in our previous video. You want to celebrate milestones. As you reach them, reward yourself for reaching milestones. It reinforces your progress and keeps you motivated. It can be as simple as taking a break, spending time with loved ones, or giving yourself a small treat. You want to thank God for the progress at each milestone. It is a step closer to fulfilling your calling and your purpose. We want to make sure we thank God whenever we reach the next step in our journey to purpose. Some final thoughts here. Breaking down goals isn't just practical. It's also a way to cultivate faithfulness, patience, and perseverance. Each small step becomes an opportunity to grow, not just toward your goal, but also in character, resilience, and reliance on God. By taking things one step at a time, you're building habits and strength that will support you long after you've reached your goal. When we're working on our goals, it might be helpful to commit to being accountable by sharing that goal with a trusted friend. We want to make sure that we choose people whom we can trust. Not just anyone is worthy to share our goals with. I heard a preacher once say that, when people want to kill your dreams, they do it in infancy. It's much like when Herod tried to kill the king who was coming. How did he do it? He killed all of the babies from 2 years old on down. So make sure you find someone that is trustworthy and who will encourage you in your goal. We want to persevere and adjust as God leads. This is not a sprint, it's a race. And as you set goals for yourself, it's going to take time, okay? Not every goal will go as planned, and that's okay. But in Philippians 4:13, we have God's promise that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So as we face setbacks, remember that God is refining our path and helping us as He leads us toward our goal. Goal setting is a journey, and God walks with us each step of the way. When we align our goals with His purpose, we find meaning and fulfillment beyond any personal achievement. So as you set your goals, remember to seek His guidance. Take it step by step and trust that He will lead you forward. I'll finish with this verse in Proverbs 16:3. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans.